Hello everybody, this is part 1 of my videos about Jurassic Park antagonists. And if you haven't already watched part 1, press somewhere on the screen right now. But if you already have, let's continue with the video. Okay, now since we have covered the human parts of the franchise's antagonists, it's about time we cover the dinosaur antagonists, the parts which all of you wanted to see, the parts which I really wanted to make a video about. In the first movie, we have two antagonists. Well, one, because I wouldn't really count Rexy as an antagonist. So that only leaves one, the raptors, specifically the big one. The big one is the alpha of the raptors. I think it's one which kills Muldoon and the last raptor to attack Rexy. Now, the big one is a good antagonist. She is intimidating and threatening. This is mainly because she is an animal. She has to do something to make us fear her. For example, at the beginning where she kills maintenance worker and when she kills Muldoon. This makes her intimidating because the writer does something that I love about storytelling. They show, don't tell. At the very most, Muldoon tells us his opinion on them, which his dialogue can suggest that we should fear them. But apart from that, they demonstrate that we should fear them through their actions, and I love it. And I'd say in the Lost World that we don't have dinosaur antagonist. But in the movie, we do have the Rex family and raptors near the end of the movie. I'd say none of these are antagonists. The Rex family aren't antagonists because they're really protagonists from their point of view. Look at it this way. The first time we encountered the T-Rex family, it was because they were looking for their offspring, therefore making them seem more like protagonists. And throughout the rest of the story, they just chase the humans for revenge, or just to get them out of their territory. At the end, the bull can be counted as an antagonist, but the bull was just lost and confused, and trying to find its way home, therefore making him seem like more of a protagonist. Meanwhile, the raptors, they can be counted as antagonists. Because there's no quality to them which makes them innocent. They're just savage animals. But they don't have that big of an impact on the story to be counted as big antagonists. Meanwhile, in JP3, we have a definitive antagonist, the Spinosaurus. But I wouldn't really count the raptors as antagonists. Much like the Rex family, the raptors are just after their eggs, therefore giving them more of a reason to make them seem less antagonistic, but giving them a motive so they can still be counted as antagonists. But I can see why people can think they're antagonists due to the acts that they do throughout the movie. Meanwhile, on the other side of the spectrum, we have the Spinosaurus, which is an antagonist, no question. The Spinosaurus is the main reason the story starts and is how the humans get stuck on the island in the first place. Despite all the controversy surrounding the Spinosaurus due to you know what, I'd say that the Spinosaurus is still a pretty good dinosaur antagonist in the franchise, due to the fact that it is a large and intimidating antagonist, and when it kills the Rex, we know it's a threat. But I don't like how it doesn't give it any motives, because the main problem with it is that they give the animals actual protagonist-like motives, like the T-Rex family or the Raptor Pack, where they have motives but not enough antagonistic qualities to actually make them antagonists. You guys didn't understand what I said there, didn't you? Look, what I'm basically trying to say here is that the Spinosaurus doesn't have any motives, which is very disappointing in my opinion, but when they do give dinosaurs more motives, it makes them more like protagonists. Moving on to Jurassic World, we just have one antagonist, our first hybrid in the franchise, the Indominus Rex, and hot damn, I love this antagonist. She is intimidating, threatening, and even at times scary, but only during the scene where the ACU are trying to recapture her, and when she uses her camouflage ability. But I'm not blind to her faults. I don't like how she doesn't have any motives. She is mostly a emotionless antagonist, like the Spinosaurus. But an excuse could be that she kills for sport, basically for fun, which gives her more of a psychopathic-like quality. But another good thing about the Indominus is a sense of mystery, because we don't know what she's made of at the beginning. All we know is that the base genome was a T-Rex. Throughout the rest of the movie, we only find out that she has raptor DNA. So that's two of many possibilities, which people are still trying to figure out to this very day. Even though the reasoning behind the Indominus is lacking, like the Spinosaurus, is mainly because Even though the reasoning behind the Indominus is lacking like the Spinosaurus, she mainly makes up in the way her physical appearance looks, in which my opinion knocks the Spinosaurus out of the park. But I still prefer the JP Raptors over the Indominus. Now we are on to our final movie. We have one antagonist. We have the Indoraptor, the last and most disappointing hybrid in the franchise. The Indoraptor was so promising. Everything from the trailers made it seem like the perfect dinosaur antagonist for the JP franchise. But what went wrong? I'd say what happened was Universal and deleting scenes. Because the Jurassic Park franchise is notorious for all its deleted scenes. But it's not affecting the movie that drastically. But the Indoraptor is an example of deleting too much. For example, I remember in a trailer for the movie, J.A. Bayona said that he wanted the Indoraptor to look sick, and he wanted to look like something went wrong while creating it. But during the actual movie, we didn't get that impression. At the very most, we get a few twitches and a few pieces of dialogue. But apart from that, there is no sign of the Indoraptor being a mistake. But from what I've heard from the deleted scenes, they would have dived into this more and would have made the Indoraptor more psychopathic. But apart from that, the Indoraptor does seem intimidating due to its great design, but it doesn't appear that threatening because all we see it do is kill humans and fight Blue at the end, in which my opinion is really disappointing. And I am incredibly tempted to make a video on how I would have done the Indoraptor, but I'll save that for another day. So that's it. All of the antagonists, human and dinosaur, from JP1 and onwards. And throughout this, I think I've developed my main problem with Jurassic villains. But it's a thing I brought up once in my last video, and it is a reappearing villain. Look at Star Wars in the original trilogy. We have Darth Vader. In the Avengers, we have Thanos. And what do we have in the JP franchise? Nothing. Because it's a problem I have in Marvel films, and that is killing off villains but not heroes. In every single Jurassic movie, we have a one-time villain on both sides, because they either die or we never see them again. And even when we have a reappearing villain like Dr. Wu, they are a very weak villain in my opinion. And this is one of my main disappointments with the Indoraptor, because I saw potential in it. that it could be a really good reappearing antagonist. But no, we just had to flush that all down the drain, along with the hybrid concept in general. From a paleontology standpoint, having no more hybrids is great. But from a storytelling perspective, it's a really bad one, especially since it's been such a big thing in the last two movies. And just to get rid of it in the third one is such a waste of a concept. And this is where I end my video, because for now, I have nothing to say until I change my mind or when Jurassic World 3 comes out, because these were my main problems with antagonists in the Jurassic Park franchise.